When Ascended Heroes launches in Pokemon TCG Live on Thursday, January 29th at 10 AM Pacific, 1 PM Eastern, the new Battle Pass free decks will be Mega Dragonite EX and Mega Meganium EX. Considering how rough the set is for new archetypes, this is about as good as we could have hoped for. Because while Mega Frostlass is the best Mega and best new deck, you basically just add the new 70 hit point Snorunt and a couple Mega Frostlass to your existing list and you're done. First up is Mega Dragonite, which should be available for free as soon as you log in after Ascended Heroes is live. Because of this, any cards you already have 4 copies of should be converted to excess trade credits, which you can use to craft any cards you might be missing. Unfortunately, they appear to have gone with the Ascended Heroes versions of cards where possible, so don't expect the number to be very high. Looking at the list, everything you need is here. On the Pokemon side, there's a 3-2-2 Dragonite line, a 3-3-1 Mega Eelektross line, Fezandipiti, Mew, Zekrom, and Zeraora. There's literally not a single wasted slot. While they went a little overkill on Earthen Vessel to find the low counts of energy, the trainers are great. And there's even 2 copies of the new Poké Pad, an absolutely amazing item that gets any non-rulebox Pokemon from deck. Right now, that means it can find any non-EX in your deck like Dragonair or Eelektrik or Zeraora for free. In terms of strategy, it's a little different than a typical Lightning deck featuring Eelektrik because Mega Dragonite attacks for a Water in addition to 2 Lightning. So early on, you mostly want to just get set up. Discarding Lightning Energy for Earthen Vessel and Ultra Ball isn't an issue because Eelektrek's ability re-accelerates it to anybody on your bench. Somebody who should definitely get an energy is Dragonair, who can find any evolution Pokemon every single turn with its ability, greatly helping your consistency. While you're not doing a whole lot turn 1 or even turn 2, after that the deck shows its power. 330 damage for 3 energy is great, KOing every meaningful 2-prizer in the game. Maximum Belt as the A-Spec allows Dragonite to hit for 380 damage, KOing other Megas. And if they have 1 prize left, Zekrom can do the exact same thing. Admittedly, Mega Eelektross isn't that great of a card, but it can help clean up KOs Dragonite may have otherwise missed with its 60-60 spread attack. Or its paralysis attack can potentially buy you a turn. Though, don't be surprised if you use Zeraora more often to snipe a bench Fezandipiti. One thing I haven't talked about is Dragonite's ability. It's a free switch every single turn. With most of your attackers discarding energy and Eelektrik only accelerating to the bench, this is important. It's part of the reason why Air Balloon and Mew are good ideas, since you can Sky Transport into someone with no retreat cost, use Eelektrik to load your attacker back up, then freely retreat into it. Of course, there are some improvements you can make to the list. Because the free version is doing nothing early, you should add either Budew or the new Stunfisk. Budew is annoying as hell, shutting off their items, while Stunfisk prevents their active from retreating. In addition to one-shotting a stupid Budew with Stunfisk, the defending Pokemon also takes 100 extra damage on your next turn. So if they don't switch or evolve the Pokemon Stunfisk gets into, they take huge damage the following turn. And don't forget about potentially including Shaman or Psyduck to protect yourself. Without making any drastic changes, this is what your Mega Dragonite list should look like on day 1. It only costs a few hundred trade credits to craft and should be a decent improvement. I added another Dragonair while cutting a Rare Candy because you mostly want to evolve through Dragonair and Eelektrik. 4 Earthen Vessel was way too much, so I have them to make room for Budew and Stunfisk. I also cut an Ultra Ball for 1 extra Lightning. Because Mega Dragonite's ability is so versatile, you can also go for somebody like Rayquaza, who can one-shot Munkidori for 2 energy. Or Tatsugiri, who will always fail to find you a supporter. In the grand scheme of things though, Mega Dragonite hasn't done a lot in Japan. You'll still get wins on TCG Live, just don't expect it to conquer many tournaments. While Dragonite's list was pretty close to competitive, the people over at the Pokemon Company went socks off at Mega Meganium, creating whatever the hell this thing is, which should be available halfway through the Battle Pass. Don't get me wrong, when the combo works, it'll make them seem like geniuses. But out of all the ways they could have built a deck around Mega Meganium, they went with Forretress EX. Not only is it rotating in 2 months, it's not really necessary for the overall strategy. What they want us to do is blow up a Forretress, giving up 2 prizes in the process while also accelerating 5 grass energy from deck however you want. This helps power up Mega Meganium, who does 70 base damage plus 50 more for each grass energy attached to it. With Baby Meganium doubling grass energy, you only need 3 physical grass on Mega Meganium to deal 370 damage, which is kind of absurd. But if you don't get a turn 2 Forretress, you basically lose the game. And if they get an early KO on a Chikorita or a Pine Echo, then all they need to do to win is KO a single Mega Meganium. Don't get me wrong, Forretress is fun in a Mega Kangaskhan Acerolas Premonition deck. Just not so much with Mega Meganium. While it will cost a decent amount of trade credits if you don't already own the cards, just build a typical Meganium deck with Tealmasked Ogerpon plus 2 copies of the Megas. Ogerpon accelerates energy into play with its ability while also drawing a card. Forest of Vitality allows you to evolve your Chikorita and Bayleaf right away after turn 1, getting both Meganium up and running. Also, can we talk about how insane it is that they included Scramble Switch of all cards as the A-Spec? Just run regular Energy Switch and free up your A-Spec for something good like Max Rod. I tried to keep the upgraded list as close to the free version as possible, but you absolutely have to have 3 copies of the Ogerpon here. Poké Pad isn't as useful when bug catching set exists. Sure, it's a risk only looking at the top 7 cards of your deck, but it can find any grass Pokemon or basic grass energy. Ultimately, the strategy is to use Ogerpon's ability to get energy into play, double it with Baby Meganium for boosted damage, and energy switch to Mega Meganium when you need a huge KO. Otherwise, you might be better off simply adding a single copy of Mega Meganium to Mega Venusaur. The giant toad can only take a 240 damage dump in the jungle. Meganium can get it up to 370 fairly easily, especially with Venusaur's ability moving energy around. Also, if you ever wanted proof that no one at the Pokemon Company actually plays Pokemon TCG Live, this is what happens when you try to import a list from their official website. You see, PDCGL doesn't recognize a 0 at the start of a card's number, so when you try to import the list as they've written, you get an error. I mean, TCG Live's only been out for 4 years. It's not like anyone could have figured this out at any point since then. Anyway, for I think the first time ever, we learned about the free decks in a new set before I've posted my crafting guide. Ascended Heroes being a special set means no pre-releases, which means no early pack openings. And now with a delay to the Erica's and Larry's bundles by a month, there's barely going to be any product available next week. So I'm still waiting to find out the official set list. When I know it though, I'll post a video with all the details. What I can tell you now is that you'll receive these new cards free in the Dragonite deck. It's not much, but it does save you 2,200 credits overall. In other TCG Live news, the dev announced that Professor Fur's Learning Lab will arrive on Tuesday, January 27th. This is a new game mode that includes tutorials for players trying to learn the game. At launch, there will be 2 classrooms. The basic one, which just seems like the original tutorial again, which you can now replay if you forgot anything. And the standard classroom, which will explain trainer cards, deck searches, and other key elements of the current meta. Of course, it's not launching as a complete game mode. They'll add more classrooms in the future to help explain rotation, new game modes, new decks, and new game mechanics. Some classrooms will be permanent, while others will be time limited. They also plan on offering rewards in the future for completing lessons, but no details were given other than they'll be retroactive. I know you want me to rant about the Learning Lab and how they were devoting resources to a tutorial rather than fixing years-long bugs or adding the expanded mode they promised 4 years ago. Well, as we learned in the rotation announcement, Expanded is maybe possibly getting new cards from X and Y or Black and White hopefully at some point this year. I assume it'll break the game when they add these older cards, but at least it's being worked on. As for the Learning Lab, how about I let the responses to their tweet do the ranting for me? Yeah, everyone kinda said everything there needs to be said. Instead of improving the game's stability or adding Expanded for people who've been stuck here for years or letting us battle friends in Expanded, they're wasting time with adding tutorials for new players when there's already an in-game tutorial. Do you know what would really help out new players? A pre-constructed format where all the decks had a theme and the power levels could be monitored and adjusted. Instead, we take new players and throw them into casual where they might face a sweaty tryhard with a fully blinged out Dragapult TX deck. Or they could go to ranked where the brilliant matchmaking system is so balanced that someone with a 0 ranking could face someone 1 win away from reaching Master League. Sorry, I saw other people complaining and had to get in on the action. Diving a little deeper into that new patch, it will follow 8 hours of downtime on Tuesday, January 27th. In addition to adding the Learning Lab, it will also add support for Ascended Heroes, which launches 2 days later. I waited to post this video until the patch notes were out in case anything exciting was announced. That turned out to be a waste of time. First up, all they revealed for trainer trials is Twin Battle is returning for 5 weeks. After that, it's a mystery. Someone did leak all over me and teased that we might be getting a pre-release trainer trial, so get your hopes up like 2% for that happening in March. Next, they provided us another letter to the community. Despite being girthy and long, nothing of importance was actually said. It basically just reiterated that Ascended Heroes is out next week alongside the Learning Lab. They did add that both Battle Pass free decks will be given away up front, which was something missing from the post on the official website. So you get both Mega Dragonite and Mega Meganium decks upon logging in next week, which is great. Oh, and they'll also be giving us free deck cosmetics inspired by their balls. In terms of other free stuff, there will be Twitch Drops for EUIC from February 13th to 15th that includes Ascended Heroes packs, a couple illustration rares, and Mega Charizard cosmetics. Additionally, by logging in during Pokemon Day on February 27th, you'll get something. They ended the letter by saying exciting things are happening in Pokemon TCG Live, despite not really showing us anything exciting happening in Pokemon TCG Live. As for the patch notes, they still aren't doing anything about the card select glitch. Instead, Ethan's Quilava is getting fixed again like my dog after he got a really hot poodle pregnant. And remember in the last patch when they fixed random cards terastallizing? Well, in doing that, they introduced a Terra Evolution animation at the start of games. That should now be addressed. The only other interesting fix has to do with showing the raw damage value in the attack preview screen. Basically, if you tried to use a shred attack on someone like Mimikyu or Cornerstone Masked Ogerpon, Live would say to do 0 damage despite the attack actually going through as intended. What's hilarious is this never used to be an issue, but a year or two ago they released an update that broke it and now they're finally addressing it. It's the circle of Live all over again. Oh, and the game shouldn't break for new players during the Professor's tutorial anymore, which was another major issue that existed for years. Getting back to the free decks, remember that this Battle Pass will only be available from January 29th to March 26th. On that date, Perfect Order will launch, giving us 2 new free decks. If I had to guess, Mega Zygarde and Mega Clefable will be the options since both have the highest power levels. March 26th is also when the yearly standard rotation takes place, removing all G-Block cards from the format. Because of rotation, we're losing the 8 yearly free decks on that day as well, where they should be replaced with 8 new ones. So if you know somebody who's yet to play TCG Live, tell them to at least log in before March 26th, because that's hundreds of free cards they'll miss out on if they don't. And who knows, maybe they'll thank you with feet picks like a true friend. Or they'll experience the card select glitch, lose because they couldn't grab a basic, and never speak to you again. But when toes are on the line, the risk is always worth it.